It's Wednesday, October 29th, 2025. It's the 302nd day of the year, and I've got an update for you on the weather. But first, let's start off with a little bit of a recap on Hurricane Melissa. We've been live for like 18 hours out of the past 36 talking about this devastating and historic hurricane because it made landfall as a Category 5 with 185 mile per hour winds yesterday in Jamaica, and it caused devastation. We're still not completely sure exactly what happened at the very spot where it made landfall because communication's still down. Some videos are coming out here and there. It looks bad. It looks like some of the worst hurricane damage I've ever seen. And of course, that doesn't come as a surprise because we knew that this was going to be one of the strongest hurricanes ever. In fact, it made landfall as likely the strongest hurricane ever on record in the Atlantic Ocean. And what's crazy is after it moved past Jamaica, as soon as it got back over the water, it re-strengthened a little bit and made another devastating landfall last night in Cuba, where we had more landslides, more devastating flooding. And although 700,000 people did evacuate the eastern side of Cuba, we're still hearing about people displaced in Cuba right now as a result of Melissa. Now Melissa is a Category 2 and it's on its way to the Bahamas. It's going to continue to cause problems, but it is going to continue to weaken. And just the day after tomorrow, it's going to be flying by Bermuda as a Category 1. And after that, we probably won't think about it much anymore. It's just going to go join the other deep low pressure systems up by the North Pole. But what an incredible storm system this has been. We'll have more updates on it, especially over on Facebook and X and stuff like that if you want to follow me over there. But of course, our thoughts are with the people of Cuba, the Bahamas, and Jamaica. And now we have to look forward and talk about the weather here in the mainland United States, where it's about to get really active. Starting today, we're going to have a lot of rain and some cooler weather in the Tennessee Valley over into the Appalachian Mountains towards the Mid-Atlantic. We've got a pretty potent trough, pretty decent system coming in that's pulling down some cold air from Canada that is going to be annoying for us over here on the East Coast, but not nearly as annoying as a hurricane. And I'm telling you right now, if it wasn't for this system, we would be dealing with Hurricane Melissa here in the United States. The only reason that's recurving out and staying away from us is because this system right here is swatting it away like a baseball bat. So we're going to have some cooler temperatures. It's going to be a cold Halloween, especially in the southeast, and it's going to be a rainy, dreary Halloween in the northeast, but we'll take it because we are not having to deal with a catastrophic hurricane of Melissa's caliber. And once again, it is going to rain a lot today in Kentucky, Tennessee, the Appalachian Mountains. There's going to rain a lot tomorrow up there around New York City, and we're also going to have a chance of some thunderstorms. In fact, we've got a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms today around Virginia Beach and the Outer Banks of the North Carolina area. The main threats here are going to be some gusty winds and maybe an isolated tornado or two. Definitely make sure you have ways of getting alerts. It doesn't look like a big outbreak or anything, but it's something to keep an eye on. The threat shifts a little bit to the north and extends a little bit to the north tomorrow, where we will continue to have a very low-end tornado threat and some small hail and some gusty winds here between Philadelphia down to Virginia Beach. Once again, millions of people will be impacted by this during rush hour, so just watch out for those storms. It's nothing crazy, but it's something to keep an eye on as we go forward. And we're about to dive so much deeper into that, but first we have to shout out today's awesome sponsor. Delete Me. Your personal data is yours again. Don't be scared, be prepared. I say that about the weather all the time, but when it comes to your personal information being sold online, most of us aren't prepared at all. Data brokers have your address, they have your phone number, they have details about your family right now, and they're selling it to anyone with a credit card. That's why I trust today's sponsor, Delete Me, to help protect my data online. Delete Me is a hands-free subscription service that removes your personal information from data broker and people search sites. Delete Me continuously removes your data using their own tech and doesn't outsource to third parties, so your data stays safe even if it gets added to sites in the future after they remove it the first time. Plus, unlike other services, Delete Me actually goes and verifies that your data is actually on the broker sites before submitting removal requests. You're going to get privacy reports showing exactly where your info was found and where it was removed from. And just recently, they were voted #1 best data removal service by Wirecutter. So go get 20% off Delete Me consumer plans when you go to joindeleteme.com/Ryan Hall and use the promo code Ryan Hall. Or you can just scan this QR code that's on the screen right now. That's joindeleteme.com/Ryan Hall. Links at the top of the description. Big thanks for Delete Me for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back into the forecast. Here's what the radar is going to look like today. And look at all that rain over here in my neck of the woods in eastern Kentucky, southern Ohio, Tennessee, North Carolina, Virginia. This evening, it's going to to rain a lot, and we might have some intermittent flooding problems. It doesn't look like it's going to be crazy, but it's something to note as we go forward. And then, of course, tomorrow, I think the severe weather threat tomorrow is actually somewhat robust. It's nothing to freak out about, but I definitely see a world where we could have some isolated supercells here that cause a tornado or two. Certainly some damaging winds. So make sure you're prepared for that out here around Baltimore, Washington, D.C., specifically from the morning through the afternoon. Once we get into the evening, things will kind of calm down a little bit, but we're still going to have some heavy rain moving into New York City, and that's actually going to lead to a flooding threat where we actually have a marginal risk of excessive rainfall in New York City from Thursday into Friday. And we have another one of those in Kentucky, Ohio, Tennessee, North Carolina, West Virginia, this whole area here today because of that same rainy system. And once again, this is a nuisance. It's going to cause some problems here in the United States, but we are happy about it because it's keeping the hurricane away. Here's a look at how much rain we're going to get over the next week. Notice how it's very easy to see where it's all happening. Most of this stuff over here is happening over the next 2 days, right? That's why we have those excessive rainfall outlooks. We're going to have maybe 2-3 inches of rain up there along the border with Canada. It's going to be quite rainy over the next few days in the Northeast and along the East Coast. Another place that really sticks out like a sore thumb is the Pacific Northwest. We've got another one of those atmospheric rivers coming in. This is going to dump a bunch of rain around Seattle and Vancouver, and especially up in the higher elevations. We're going to be talking about some real snow up there, and that's going to be happening over the next several days. Most of that's actually backloaded on the 7-day outlook versus front-loaded over here on the East Coast. But another thing that really stands out here is all the dryness in the middle. Man, we ain't going to get a drop of rain in Denver, I can tell you that, over the next 7 days. And there's a huge area around that that's going to be dry as well. This is thanks to the clearing out of the cold front that's coming through, and also some very warm air advection that's happening with a ridge that's building in the southwest. And you take that high pressure building in the southwest and the low pressure building in the east, and what do you get in the middle? You get some strong winds and some dry winds down here in southern Texas. So just a quick shout out here to people in San Antonio, point south to Corpus Christi, especially in the middle there from Kingsville up to Beeville and Pleasanton. We've got a pretty substantial fire risks today, wildfires, just due to the low relative humidity. So keep that in mind. There's going to be wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour today, and it's just going to be dry as a bone. It'll be better tomorrow, but today wildfires are a risk. Everyone else is dealing with weather whiplash. Look at these temperature anomalies as we go into the night tonight. We are going to be very much below average in Mississippi and Alabama, especially into Oklahoma and Arkansas, over towards the Appalachian Mountains. This is that cold air system that's keeping Melissa away and keeping things cool in the south, at least 20 degrees below normal for a couple of days. It's going to stick around. It's not just going to immediately go away. And I say weather whiplash because we're going to have the same thing happening in the west, but on the opposite side. We're going to have a rapid increase in temperatures, and we're just going to stay warm in the west and a little bit cooler in the east. And eventually, this is all going to flip. We're going to have a major pattern flip, and that will likely lead to even more active weather, back to having fall severe weather to track and stuff like that. Eventually here, we're going to have to start talking about snow on a big scale, but we're not there yet. Here's your 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. You can see we're going to be much above average in the southwest and pretty much the west and the central United States. But all of us over here on the eastern side are going to continue to be below average at least through 10 days from now. So keep that in mind as we go into November. It's going to be a cold Halloween, especially in the southeast. It's going to be a rainy one along a lot of the East Coast. But for the rest of us, things are kind of quiet in terms of storminess, which is always good news. And that's pretty much all the weather talk I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.